What if I told you healing could be activated with light? Not a pill, not a product, but a frequency, awakening your body's natural ability to regenerate, restore, and rise with vitality. Hi, I'm Jennifer Pilates, and I've seen firsthand how light therapy patches are helping people all over the world reduce pain, calm inflammation, increase collagen, improve energy, and so much more. These non-invasive patches use the power of phototherapy to signal your body back into balance. No chemicals, no side effects, just light. If you've been feeling depleted, foggy, inflamed, or if you simply want to feel more vibrant from the inside out, this might be what your body's been asking for. I've personally experienced the difference, having worn light therapy patches for the past 15 years. I've shared them with clients, my community, and my team. Curious? Head over to jenniferpilates.com to learn more or to reach out for a personalized consultation. Your body remembers how to heal. Light just helps it remember faster. Head over to jenniferpilates.com today to learn more. Welcome to Empowered Within, a soul-quenching, transformational podcast that will set your soul on fire through candid and inspiring conversations. Leading experts, celebrities, healers, and I share our journeys of how we've overcome challenges to living an empowered life from within. I'm your host, Jennifer Pilates. Welcome to another episode of Empowered Within. Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome to a new episode. I am honored to have with us today's guest, Jennifer Harper. She is a singer-songwriter, sacred alchemist, and frequency guide who blends music, human design, gene keys, and intuitive energy work into transformative experiences. She helps you reclaim your voice, release ancestral blocks, and live in renaissance with your true purpose. Known for her mantra-like vocals and emotionally rich songwriting, Jennifer's performances span spiritual retreats, iconic venues, and major rallies. Now, in her 60s, she is releasing her third album, Soul Alive, a luminous collection created to awaken the soul and inspire the truth that it's never too late to follow your dreams. Welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. There's so many things to dive into, but first, I want to dive into your song, Soul Alive. I just want to dive in there first. It's on your website. Even now, talking about it, I get goosebumps. The song, your energy on the beach. I mean, just tell me, where does it come from? Where does that inspiration come? And it's so angelic and beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Where does it come from? I always ask myself that. Where's this coming from? Thank you. Thank you. I'm the channel I receive. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because that's how it feels sometimes. Like, I don't even know where it comes from. However, that being said, there are ways to nurture that experience. And over the years, I've gotten better and better at opening my channel and receiving the gifts and the messages that I'm meant for, and almost obeying I don't want to call it a command, but almost obeying the request of my life. This is what you're good at. This is what you can do. And, like Marianne Williamson says, right? Who are you not to share your light with the world? So
exactly
that kind of a feeling, I think ultimately is where it comes from. Learning to have the courage to answer the call. Like, why am I here? What is my purpose? What are my gifts? What am I good at? How do I maximize them? How do I work on them? How do I increase my strengths and work on my weaknesses? I work with the gene keys, so I talk about shadow frequency and gifts and cities and things like that within the gene keys. And just the evolution of that over time. This particular song, Soul Alive, actually has a really beautiful evolution. And I haven't talked about the story all that much. So if you want to hear it, I'm happy to share it.
I want to hear it because that song I was just tearing up listening to it. And I thought, this is such a soul calling for so many women out there, but particularly it just hit me so much
everything about it, from you to what you were wearing to the ocean. I mean, I could have been you in this song. I was like, oh my gosh, we couldn't, we were just like synergistically one in this moment. It was so
Mm.
powerful.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. It's great to have that affirmation of my work. I'm always so grateful to get the feedback, because sometimes you do things, you just feel like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of doing it anyway. I don't know if it's going to resonate with anyone else, but it feels right to me, and I'm just going to go with it. And that's a little bit what the making of the video was like. But interestingly, I'll talk a little bit about the evolution of the song and the video. And actually, my whole album is coming out next week. So a perfect time for me to dive into talking about this. I'm happy to do that. The album is called Soul Alive, and it's coming out September 5th. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure when this episode will air. So by the time it airs, maybe it'll already be out. Yeah. So
absolutely.
it's funny that you said about the music video, because it was actually filmed in Martha's Vineyard. So no wonder you were feeling a bit of a resonance, because you told me that's,
Such a calling. And I was like, I was
yeah.
looking at the seagrass and I'm looking and I'm like, I feel like I've been there
Yeah, you
because
probably
I
have.
have.
Yeah. So that is a story in its own, but I'll talk about the lyrics of the song, how that came to be, and a little bit about that, because it's actually a song in its original, when I originally sort of channeled it as I call, because that's how it feels, it was, I decide and the universe provides. So I decide and the universe provides. We have all we need. Let love lead. And I was singing that riff. And because I was in a season of deciding and knowing that my choices, that my words and my choices, was a very conscious time for me in my life, recognizing the power that I had to decide, to choose, to use the words that would empower me and to manifest in my life a state of thriving. And it was just very apparent in all facets of my life. So that was the riff, and that's what I was singing, and that's what I was playing with on the piano. But when I couldn't get myself to record it and make it a part of the album, because it just didn't feel like, it felt like my own activation, but it didn't feel like the song version that I wanted to share with the world. And I couldn't get myself to move with it. And then I presented it to my producer, and I said exactly that. I've been working with this on myself, and it's been very powerful for me, but it's just not quite right. And sometimes he gives me a little nudge of, let's go forward with it, knowing that once I sort of commit, that then I'll work on whatever needs to work on, instead of just saying this isn't working and let's not record it. So I said, okay, I'll work on it. Let's record it. It has a good feel to it. And I started just playing around. What is it that really wants to come through? And I had just a great time. I took a walk with my son, and I was just playing around with him. He's older, he's 24, but he's an actor and he's very creative himself. And so I was just kind of like bouncing my idea. I just needed another person there for this moment, because it was such a joyful song. And I was like, it's this, but it's not this. It's this, but it's not this. I'm just playing. And finally I was like, soul alive. And it just was like, yes, that's the feeling, soul alive. And I was kind of dancing down the street and singing it. It all came out. And I was like, yes. So sometimes the creative process is like that. And then I knew I had hit it, and I started playing with the words in the chorus that way. There was another section of the song that was really interesting, because also very, very powerful activator for me personally. My song is always first and foremost a personal activation, a personal healing, transformative message for myself, and I work with it, and then it's like, once it's done its medicine, then I'm like, okay, now it's time to translate this for other people to receive. So one of the verses was, vast as a galaxy I hold in my womb, heaven on earth, I'm home. And I was tapping into the power of the womb. And this is something that I've been doing also more and more in the last couple of years. And it's been incredibly powerful. way to tune in to my truth, to a way to tune into my power, tune into what I'm really here for. And so that was in this song too. And then I was like, you know what? This song, this is not the right place for this message in this song. It served its purpose for me to activate this state of thriving, this state of soul alive, I decide, right? All the things, but it wasn't the right thing for the song. So I took it out and I put in magic everywhere in the air that I breathe. Energies rising inside of me. So the energy rising inside of me really kind of is like my own code for referring back to that energy from the womb. So that's just some fun little stories about the creation that tells you, you know, kind of the energy that goes into my music. Yeah. And then, yeah. So I don't know if you want to say something before I launch
it's so
into
powerful. No, so powerful. And I felt energetic shifts when I was listening to it. And I went back and I was just like, wow. I felt like someone was tapping on my head, like, now do you get it? Like for where I'm at in my moment in life. And I believe there are no coincidences. Everyone shows up in your life in that moment. And here you are. And I was like, oh my God. I feel in this moment in life right now, there are so many destined, fated things that are happening every moment of every day that we can no longer deny them. And us being here today is absolutely one of them. And hearing your music, and I was like, how can I turn these into playlists for my Pilates classes? That was my thought. I'm like, these are so amazing.
Yay, is what I have to say about that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So where did your love for music and all things metaphysical come from? Was it one and then the other? How did that all start for you?
So interesting. Beautiful question. I think that it's intrinsic to who I am and also to how I was raised. You're into human design, right?
Yes, I
So
love it.
I'm a projector in human design. I think as a projector, I'm always a little bit more tuned into those kind of frequencies. It's just sort of the way I'm designed. I also had parents that nurtured the arts, and all of us, I was a very musical family. Everybody played an instrument. And I just naturally gravitated to the piano from a very young age. I was just really fascinated by it and playing it all the time. And then my parents put me into lessons when I was about 4. And I just loved it and played all the time. And my father was quite a spiritual man in an unconventional sense, but he was a really Renaissance man. He was interested in philosophy and poetry and music and all different kinds of music and very well read. And so that he was always opening my mind, I think, you know, and introducing me to ideas that probably laid a lot of the groundwork for my curiosity about the world. He was always curious about the universe and showing us. I remember he got a telescope when we were little, and when the Hubble came out, I still had this big book that he gave me of all the pictures. And so all the fascination of what lies beyond and why are we here and what is the meaning of our life, and all of that was just normal life to kind of discussion in my family, or certainly with my father. And so that's probably, I would say it felt very natural to me to explore both. It was a long time before I had comfort in using my own voice. That was really I don't want to call it the struggle, but that was sort of the invitation of my life, was to learn to use my voice and to feel confident in using my voice, because that was the hardest thing for me. I didn't sing. I actually sang in school musicals, things like that, but I was not comfortable singing at the piano. Certainly if I played music with lyrics, I sang very quietly. Sometimes I would sing very loud when no one was home, to myself, but for the most part, I sang very quietly and didn't feel that I had anything to share. It was a self-worth and self-value struggle as well. And learning that what I thought was important, what I had to say was important, that I could make music and share it. You know, it was a long time. It wasn't until I was in my 40s that I got out there with my music.
I think
So
that's
yeah.
important for people to hear. I know so many women like you, like myself, who it's like you really find your footing that midlife. Like that's when everything comes together. And for you, I'm curious. So you have the music and you have your voice, you have the healing in your intuitive side. When did you realize that music wasn't just music for you, that the healing kind of flowed with that? How did that pivot come for you?
Well, in my first album, even some of the songs that I wrote then, and one of the most pivotal things that happened for me in my life was I was introduced to a Buddhist practice that really helped me a lot and with everything in my life, but basically helped me develop my compassion and courage and confidence and all those kinds of things. And I really poured myself into Buddhist study and practice and daily practice and the community. And that helped me a lot. So and it's what enabled me to really get out there and be like, okay, I'm going to do this music, because if I don't, I know I will always live with regret. And I don't want to live with regret, which is actually, excuse me, a quote in a poem that I read by the Buddhist philosopher Daisaku Ikeda. And he had a line. It was a visionary poem that he wrote about basically how do we create peace in the land. And his instructions to young people was first of all, you yourselves must live without regret. That line just jumped out at me. And when I read it, and I was like, that I know what that means. Absolutely. That I must do the music. So as soon as I started doing the music, I was already deep into pursuing this spiritual practice. So it was very natural that the subject matter that I was dealing with in some of the songs related to some of the concepts that I was studying and learning to embody, because for me, it is a healing practice, just the writing of the music. So I'm working out puzzles. I'm working out things that I may not understand, or emotions that might be difficult, or relationships, or whatever it is. Sometimes it's about other things I've witnessed and experienced or had people share with me, and I'm processing that through my own lens. And a lot of times it's my own direct experience. So it is kind of a spiritual practice in that way, just the writing of the music and integrating these concepts. So right away from the start, there were pieces of that in there, but it wasn't like a conscious, oh, I see that this goes to like that this is my niche, or this is what I do, or there was no intentional practice around it. It was just what came through and what I was processing. And then
So I was going to say, does this where I feel like human design could have sort of pointed or given a little bit of a light bulb
yes,
to
later.
to put the pieces together for you.
That's what happened, because then I did my second album and I started feeling like I was straying from my voice. Actually, I had an incredible experience doing my second album. I worked with the most unbelievable musicians, and the sound I think is phenomenal. And I didn't feel like I was saying what I wanted to say. And it was during the pandemic when everything shut down and we all went online and started trying new things online. And I put myself into spiritual communities and really wanted to connect with other like-minded women and really poured into that. I was in a songwriting circle as well as many other groups and met women from all over the world. It was fantastic. And that's when I first heard about human design. And I hadn't even heard about Gene Keys, first heard about human design, and was so interested to find out I was a projector and what that meant. And then it was kind of like, oh, so much of my life was like, made sense. Suddenly it was like such a relief when you're a projector and you didn't know it. For anybody who's a projector out there, they understand what I'm saying. And it's like, oh, no wonder, so that was a huge relief. And it made me want to understand more. So it was really through the pandemic. And then I did another little class, and then all these changes and realizations. And then I decided I'm just going to do a certification. So I put myself into a year-long program studying human design, Gene Keys. And that's when all this music started coming out of me. And well, there's so many layers to this, but I started understanding my shadow frequencies and embracing my gifts more and applying them, and then weaving that into the music. And then one thing kind of leads to another when you get into that flow state of life. So that led to me realizing that I could help other people in this way. So I started offering, there's so much more to the story, but I'm trying to how do I tell it all? But I started weaving that into my sessions where I was helping other people, and weaving musical elements into my sessions with other people. And then I received the feedback that it was so incredibly powerful, that it was so incredibly life-changing, that people shifted in whether it was their perspective on a relationship or something in their business or whatever it was that they were going through. Sometimes people even had physical shoulder pain or something that went away from my voice. And then I started, okay, what is this? What does this mean? And it's kind of, for me, you're human design. I have an open spleen, completely open spleen. So fear is a very familiar territory for me. So I go to fear right away. This is scary. Everything first gets processed as fear. This feels, what is this? And then you start feeling like, am I delusional? Am I crazy? Is this real? Have I gone off the deep end here? What is happening? And then, you start meeting other people and learning and expanding your understanding of the shifts and things that are taking place on the planet right now, and deepening my understanding too of the power of sound. And I just at one point was like, you know what, maybe I don't understand it, and maybe I will never understand exactly scientifically, but I'm not going to deny that this is happening and that I have the power to help other people this way. So let me just do what I can with it.
Right. I think sometimes there doesn't need to be words to explain when you have the validation of the people around you, of the experiences they've had with you through the work that you've done, the sessions and your music. And I think that maybe that's what speaks for itself. There isn't an A plus a B. There's just a magnificent moment. Like I said, I listened to that song and what a shift. I listened to a few of your other songs and I thought, wow. And then my first thought was, wow, how can I weave this as part of a Pilates playlist? Because I love to integrate healing frequencies, and I can absolutely feel the depth of the frequencies the shifts that are coming through. And I think when each person is going to feel it very differently based on where they are in that moment with life. But I think it's just so amazing and so powerful, your music, your voice, and how amazing it is that it can affect every single person in the moment where they are and give them exactly what they need in that moment in time.
Yeah. It feels like such a gift. I'm just grateful to be a channel. I don't really know what else to say. I just, like I said, I feel like I said yes instead of
yes.
instead of no. I just said yes. Okay.
Right. Do you think, and I'm just going to toss this out there, do you think that perhaps the universe gave you human design so that it would help articulate the process of your fears and allow you to lean into them a little bit more comfortably, because there was like a solid piece to it? You could understand it because you could make sense of it based on what human design was giving you, so that the fear wasn't so fearful because you could somewhere make sense of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I said, and I do believe that when you have a completely open center in human design, that it's really your superpower, because you don't have as much conditioning around it as you do if you have gates in the center. And therefore you can turn, sort of, in Buddhism, we talk about turning poison into medicine. You can kind of turn the poison of it into the medicine of it more easily. So it does feel like a superpower. So as much as I've had fear, I've had courage. And what is courage but the the overcoming of the fear. You can't have courage without fear, right? So the poison, the medicine, the fear, the courage, right? Yes. But looking at it through the lens of human design, definitely is very affirming for a lot of aspects of my life. It's been incredibly helpful. I'm a line one, and I'm very aware that I overthink and I overwork, and I need to get things really, I need to go way overboard almost before I feel confident enough to share something. I wouldn't call myself an expert in something because I of that need to really know like everything about a subject in order to feel like I'm okay to say I know something about it. Understanding those aspects of my personality have helped me a lot in navigating the trickier aspects of being me. That's what's so beautiful about human design. For me, Gene Keys even more. I don't know if you know about Gene Keys, but
I do.
Yeah.
I was into Gene Keys way before it was the cool thing, way before I even ever heard of human design. I'm always like ahead of the curve. And then sometimes it'll stick with me and sometimes it won't. And it stuck with me for a while. And then I was rooted elsewhere. And then all of a sudden, human design came back full force, and thus the Gene Keys as well. I find it all incredibly fascinating. I love all of it. I love the astrology. I love the numerology. There's so many different ways to look at yourself through everything that if you don't get one thing, it's the Rubik's Cube of your energy, and you'll eventually understand and get it. And I think that the further you dive into human design and peel back those pieces, you really get who you are and maybe who you were at one point.
Maybe, right.
The same person, it's that philosophy, the same person, or not the same person. You can have the same thing said to you by three different people, but all of a sudden Jennifer Harper says it to me and I'm like, there it is. And it was like, I have to say, like just the other day, someone had me look at the same human design I had been looking at for, I don't know how many months, however long. There was just one word that was different. And it completely shifted in me. And I went, of course. Now it all makes sense. I had literally been looking at the same thing for so long, though. But it was just, and I think that's why you have to keep digging. You have to keep looking. You have to be open like you are to being that channel. And everyone has the ability for that, to listen in and let it flow through. And speaking of that, so when, you're being that channel and things are flowing through you, could you be in the grocery store and now all of a sudden Jennifer's penning a song?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering, or is it more, no, like you're zen'd in the moment and it?
No, things can come in at random times. As a matter of fact, I can't say I've necessarily had an experience in the grocery store, but I have had an experience on my first album in the dressing room at the gym. I was 9 months pregnant and with my first child, and a song just came through, and it's a song that I still enjoy today. That, as a matter of fact, I'm probably going to perform it in my next show. It's a song called "She's in Control." Still resonates for me to this day. I was needing to release control in order to have a baby, and this song just kind of came through. So yeah, it can be odd times. Some of the songs on this album, a lot of the songs on this album actually came through water. That's a very potent place for channeling for me. The bath, the swimming pool, while I was swimming. So yeah, but it could be any old time, middle of the night. Yeah.
I have those. I had one last night where literally I was recording a podcast interview in my sleep, but I was awake and I was like, do I need to get up and do this right now? I totally get it. And the shower is huge. Being at the beach for me it's just like this open portal that's amazing that comes through. And that's why I resonated so much with the essence of your website and the music and everything. It's so flowy and it's so vast and deep at the same time.
And I love what you said, that it's available to all of us, because I think that's such an important point. We all have our gifts, and that's what's so beautiful too about understanding the Gene Keys, especially I feel, because it points out this is your gift in this sphere. These are your gifts.
Blatantly.
Right.
Blatantly. Yes.
And not that a lot of people are critical about human design and Gene Keys because they're like, oh, you don't want to put yourself in that prison or think that you're stuck with a certain thing because of that. And I just don't see it that way at all. I don't feel constricted by it in any way, shape, or form. I feel expanded by it. I feel it's a map that for me to interpret, reinterpret, and go deeper, contemplate, and give me clues as that can help me in my evolution. So I don't see it that way at all. But I know there are a lot of people who feel that way about it. But I would just say to listeners, if you don't know about human design and Gene Keys, there's fabulous tools for understanding the self and exploring yourself. And that, yes, we absolutely all have our gifts without a shadow of a doubt. And again, as I say, it's never too late, because it truly isn't ever too late to reinvent yourself, to discover new gifts, to decide you're going to go for it, to change a job, a relationship, whatever. It's just never too late. You're here, you're alive, you're breathing, then it's not too late.
Exactly. Actually, you're right on time.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you offer incredible programs, incredible ways to work with you that encompass frequency and your music and the human design and Gene Keys. Share a little bit about those with us, because I found those to be very powerful as well.
Sure. I offer individual sessions, which I love to work one-on-one with people. I love to go deep. I love to have meaningful conversations and really support somebody in a transformation. So one-on-one sessions are just something that I really love. I have several different ways to work one-on-one, which are on my website. One, I go a little bit deeper into the design and help people who really maybe don't know anything or more new to the design, learning about their human design and Gene Keys. I do both at the same time, so I don't do them separately. I look at both maps together, and then they jump off the page at me, and I put my own spin on it, my own projector guidance on it, my own vision on it, my own gift, magic, potion, whatever. And I think there is a degree of psychic ability that maybe comes more naturally as a projector. I don't know, but I'm just getting more in tune and in touch and willing to call it what it is, which is, we all have that ability as well, but I feel more in tune with mine and trusting of those intuitive hits that I get when the maps kind of jump off, and just hold space for people to share what they're going through and what it is really on their heart and in their soul that's holding them back from whatever it is that they most desire in their life, and help them move through those blocks by my reading of their charts. And then I bring in the sound, what I call sound alchemy, which is really intuitive voice work that's using my voice as a healing tool, much the way you'll have people use sound bowls, right? And people go to like sound healings. I just use my voice, and I use the frequency of the voice, and I work with the maps, and I don't even know how to explain it, but whatever comes through is an energetic transmission that transmutes the energies. And maybe it's even similar to Reiki. I don't know too much about Reiki, but it's like I use my voice and the human design and the Gene Keys, and I kind of put it together in my own way, and it's clearly helped a lot of people shift their lives. So I'm just grateful to be able to do that. And then more recently, I've been doing some group work where on retreats, women's retreats and workshops, where I've gone and offered this work in a group setting. And that's been really interesting and powerful. And it's given me an opportunity to play on my feet more, because a lot of these other sessions are on Zoom, and I love to be in person and be on my feet and transmit my voice. And also, I move energy also through my hands. So I work the energy, the voice, the hands, people directly there. And it was just in Greece on a retreat, and I was basically hired to help the women connect their wombs to their throats. I was like, okay, I can do that. I didn't really know exactly how I was going to do that, but I just knew that I could do that. And through some of the musical messages, some of my songs that I've written, I used those as jumping off points, and then did individual, even though we were in group setting, I did individual work within the group setting. So that has been fabulous. And I'm definitely going to be doing more of that. I also was at a workshop in Barcelona. So yeah, I'm just excited that more invitations are coming in for me as a result of the work that I've done already. And I know that this is a really important aspect of the healing that I can bring.
That's amazing. That sounds so great. I'm so excited for you. And what a beautiful time in our world right now, because our world needs so much healing collectively. So the more between your music and the retreats and your 101s, it's a beautiful way to be able to work with you on different levels that people can experience and work with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I really, really love it. So I'm thrilled. And I'm also going to be doing more musical performances where I'm creating a show, but it's more of an interactive healing experience in the show. So it's not just going to a music performance. I'm going to find ways to workshop within the performance. So I'm working on that now.
That sounds very cool. I love that. I cannot wait to find out more about that. So will you share with our guests, where can they go to find out all the goodies about you and listen to your music?
Sure. On my website is the best place, jenniferharpermusic.com. That connects, actually. I have another website, jenniferharperfrequency.com, that is connected there. So you can find out about the work that I do and reach out there. I'm on socials, of course, on Instagram. I am Jennifer Harper. But the best way is really to sign up for my mailing list. There's free offers too. You can get a quantum activation through my frequency website. And also a beautiful, I don't know if you heard the healing song that I have on offer on my Jennifer Harper Music website. Very powerful healing song for anybody who's been through any kind of trauma. It's very powerful message in that song. So on the jenniferharpermusic.com.
Yeah. So when you hear this, you can already go out and get it right away. You don't have to sit and wait for it. So that's the beauty of this.
Yeah. And I am going to be putting together a vinyl. It's going to take a little bit more time, but I'm really excited. Much like I started making the music videos, I decided I'm going to make a really beautiful keepsake vinyl. So if you're into, that's coming as well.
I love vinyl. I'm so old school with everything. I love vinyl.
Yeah.
So that'll be really cool. Oh my gosh, so excited for that. All right, Jennifer. So as we are getting ready to wrap up and close the show today, is there one last piece of inspiration that you would like to leave with us?
I feel like I've said it, but I'll say it again because these 2 points feel like the most important points I could ever offer anybody, which is that we all have gifts inside of us that many times we're not trusting of them, or might feel like they're strange, or we're not, for whatever reason, we're conditioned to believe that it's not okay for us to go after those dreams, those desires, and pursue those gifts. But it's never too late, and it's okay, and trust yourself and go for it. That's what I really like to share with people. I hope that everybody can find a way to live their life without regrets as well.
Amen. That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And again, all of Jennifer's information will be over in the show notes at jenniferpilates.com. We'll have all the links to her music, to her website, and to all her goodies that you can work with her over there. Jennifer, this has been so amazing. As I said, I'm super excited to work more with you, to hear more about your music, and to be able to bring more flow into the Pilates classes with your music. So thank you for everything that you're doing for our amazing world.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, as we say, until next time, may you live an empowered life from within. Yay!
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Empowered Within with Jennifer Pilates. Your feedback is important. It helps me to connect with you and gives me insight into who you are and what you're enjoying about the show. For today's show notes and discount codes from today's sponsors, head over to jenniferpilates.com. Until next time, may you live an empowered life from within. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That quiet ache, the heaviness, the knowing that something needs to shift, but you're not sure how? You don't need to figure it all out. You just need a space to release, realign, and remember who you are. I'm Jennifer Pilates, and I invite you to join me for Reiki Moon Magic Distant Healing, a sacred healing experience that goes far beyond Reiki. This is a transformational energy work that cleanses the emotional clutter, clears energetic blocks, and realigns your entire being, body, mind, and spirit. Held under the sacred light of the moon, you'll enter a deeply nourishing frequency where healing happens on every level. If you've been carrying too much, if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Your healing, your release, your return to light. Reserve your space for the next Reiki Moon Magic Distant Healing at jenniferpilates.com. Come as you are, leave transformed and empowered, body, mind, and spirit.